It's the Prep Rally Podcast, the only podcast in the state dedicated to prep sports. Brought to you by the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Here's your host, Chip Souza.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is Prep Rally, the podcast. I'm Chip Souza, joined this week by Paul Boyd and Henry Apple. Ricky Fires is a little under the weather. We won't disclose what his illness is, but I think he's got an ingrown fingernail.
Well, get better, Ricky. Come on, we need you back here.
We're hoping he can recover from that after a couple of weeks and get better. And you know, the ingrown fingernails can be tough. You know, they can have lingering effects.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Hey, we're going to rodeo though.
That's right. That's right. So Ricky is not here today, but we're going to wing it. We're like Henry said, we're on a wing and a prayer, and I'm winging and Henry's praying. So here we go. So we got a little high school sports to talk about this week. We had a 7-on-7 tournament over at Siloam Springs. This was the second 7-on-7 tournament that we've had in the Northwest Arkansas area. The first one was in Alma the week before. This week was in Siloam Springs. So, Henry, I know our Graham Thomas from the Siloam Springs Herald-Leader covered that for the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. And Sapulpa, Oklahoma came over and won that. They beat a pretty good Harrison team to win that championship.
Yeah, a Harrison team who's going to have to do a little bit of retooling and lost a great offensive weapon last year in Cole Keelan.
Yes.
But now here's Logan Plumley. He's ready to step in and assume the duties. So here we go again. Now, the Goblins will be tough again.
They will be tough again. And like they say way up there in Harrison, we don't rebuild, we reload. And so it looks like they're going to be pretty good team again this year. Of course, I know it's 7-on-7, and that doesn't tell the whole story because there's no blocking and tackling. But on the skill position players, looks like Harrison's going to have some pretty good skill position guys.
Yeah, again, mention Logan Plumley. They had a young sophomore quarterback. His name sort of escapes me right now. But this kid had to lead them to a playoff win when Keelan was injured.
Right.
Logan Plumley was quarantined because of contact with COVID.
Yep.
So here he comes in, a third-string quarterback, a sophomore.
If I remember, Henry, he was in the words of some the radio said, he's a big old boy. I think if that's right.
Not that
right?
big, but he was quick. And
maybe it was Keelan that was big kid.
Keelan was a big one, and he'd hit you.
Yeah.
But this one here, I think his last name was Jones. And like I said,
Beck Jones?
Beck Jones.
Beck
That's
Jones.
who it is.
Okay, there you go.
But yeah, he was more of a runner, so they just simply went to more like a wing T offense.
I
and said,
love that.
Here we go.
Yeah, running the single wing offense, yeah, kind of. So that's like Clarksville does. So good 7-on-7 over there. Now we had quite a few, Henry, local Northwest Arkansas teams in this event. In the semifinals of that event to get to the championship game, Harrison knocked off Bentonville West, which actually was the number 1 seed coming out of pool play.
Yeah, Bentonville West won the pool play, and including a win in that, they defeated Harrison, but then Harrison come back and beat them in the bracket play. And then I remember reading where Joel Wells had said, hey, we just had too many guys going to both ways, and as hot as it was last Sunday or Saturday, I'm sure that wore them out pretty good.
I'm sure it did. I am sure it did. And then in the other semifinal, Sapulpa, Oklahoma beat Springdale. Now, Springdale, they rallied. I don't think they played that well in pool play, but when it got to bracket play or tournament play, they kind of turned it on and won several games to reach the semifinals, but Sapulpa laid it on them pretty good in the semifinals, and then they beat Harrison in the finals 36-18 to win that. I think they're calling it the State Line Shootout is what they called it.
Yeah, a lot of not only local teams, but some coming over from Oklahoma and making a nice little event and something that can help them out during the summer because it's not going to hurt them any unless,
Absolutely.
Of course, you lose a player by a freak injury or something like that, which I didn't hear of any like that.
I didn't either. So that's wrapped up the Siloam Springs State Line Shootout 7-on-7. Now, Paul, tomorrow on Thursday is going to drive up across the border to Missouri.
Missouri.
Got to talk like the natives there. Missouri up to Branson, which doesn't need state name after the end of it. Everybody knows where Branson is.
That's right.
He's going to go up there, and they're going to have after, of course, last year after everything was shelved for COVID reasons. This year it's back. And Paul, you went up there a couple of years ago and covered this event.
I've been a couple of times. It's a good event. They do a really good job. It's a 24-team event, and I think there are about half a dozen Arkansas schools up there. I think Rogers is going to have 2 teams in there, and I think Alma's going to have 2 teams. In addition, Bentonville I think they're sending their JV. I talked to them, and they've sent varsity and JV in past. So there's quite a few area schools here there.
Now I'm going to make a couple of suggestions on Henry on how to make this event a success. First off, you need to have Yakov Smirnoff come in and be the entertainment between games. That would be number one. And then number two, if the game is tied at the end of regulation, at the end of 20 minutes, they should line them up and have the Lamberts throw the rolls at them, and whoever drops a roll, they lose and the other team wins.
Yeah. Or in the case of this time, hey, let's throw a little Guy Fieri in there.
Oh, get a little Guy Burger.
Yeah.
A little Guy Burger.
A little
in there.
Flavor Town.
Yeah, they can go into Flavor Town. That's out of bounds. That's his thing to say. That's out of bounds. So just a couple of ways, Paul, I think they could spice up this 7-on-7 a little bit.
I'll pass it along tomorrow.
There you go.
I'll see what they got to say.
I'll take a little cut of that action
Sure.
if that
There
actually
you go.
happens. So, Paul, you mentioned Bentonville will be taking their JV.
That's correct. Rogers is taking 2 teams. Harrison's taking a team. Alma's taking two teams.
Okay.
Gentry. I think there's one more I'm missing, but
Okay.
I know Gentry is also going to be there. So there's about 6 Arkansas schools, but 24 total.
And this will be at Branson High School?
Branson High School, correct.
Okay.
Nice, very nice complex. I mean, they got an area there where they got about area for it's similar to what Shiloh Christian does.
Okay.
They've got a good area where it's a little spread out, but they've got 6 or 8 different fields,
Practice fields and
Correct.
things like
Yes.
that they'll
Yes.
play on before they get into, I guess, the tournament play.
Yeah.
Paul, what time's that going to start on Thursday?
Start at 2:00 and go all afternoon. So they're saying the championship game at 6:45, probably ish.
Yeah. They're catching a little bit of a break, Henry. It's outside, I think today is like in the mid-80s. out there,
mid-80s, and enjoy it today and possibly tomorrow because come Friday, I'm hearing it's going to get hot again.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly what I told my wife. I've been up there a couple of times, and it's been sweltering a couple of times when I've been there before. Should be really nice tomorrow, though.
Well, that's when you go to Silver Dollar City between games and maybe go to hit that splashdown
Splash.
ride.
There you go.
Hit
There
that
you go.
splashdown
do a
ride
little
if you
fire in the hole.
So good 7-on-7 going on all around us for teams that are working on their passing game and pass defense skills for the defenders, things like that. And, of course, that's all kind of leading into the Shiloh Christian bringing back this year the Southwest Elite 7-on-7. That'll be in mid-July. The difference this year and in years past, Henry, is it's going to be held on a Wednesday and a Thursday this year. I believe the dates are the 13th and the 14th, but it might be the 14th and 15th, but it's right there in the middle of July. And we will have Jeff Conaway, the Shiloh Christian head football coach, athletic director, on the podcast the week of that event to give us some more detail. But glad to see that back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, glad to see that back. And any and all team, camps and things like that, and seeing these kids getting to a more of a normalcy out there. And looking forward to that as the summer marches on, Henry, into the end of June. We're right at the end of June. Next week's the end of June. Can you believe it's gone that fast?
It's hurtling just quickly, going about as fast as Isaiah Satanga can run.
And that's fast. And,
Yeah.
and that's a great segue. We're going to talk a little bit of Isaiah Satanga. He had committed to, and of course he's the Fayetteville wide receiver and a track star. But he didn't run track that much this year. He's still, coming off an injury from football. But by some accounts and some of the recruiting services have him as the number 1 prospect in the state of Arkansas. He had verbally committed to Texas A&M, which was not a huge surprise considering he was from Texas. He had gone to school in Texas until his dad took a job at the U of A as an assistant on the men's track team. But he committed to Texas A&M, and then last week he announced on Twitter that he was going to decommit. He's going to pull that verbal commitment back open up his recruitment, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, and immediately he went and took an official visit all the way up to Oregon.
Yeah.
And, of course, when you think of Oregon, what do you think of but those all sorts
Hideous.
of color uniforms?
Hideous. It's hideous. They look like someone got a yellow highlight marker and went crazy in the locker room.
Yeah, but, they know that. But Oregon also has a very good track team.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
they're
sir.
in that mix. He did post, Arkansas is back in the
Yep.
mix, I'm sure he would love nothing better for, play for the Hogs and also run track and be right there with his dad.
Exactly.
So,
And also, I know LSU had come through with an offer. This was several weeks ago. There was widespread speculation that if LSU did make an offer, that would catch his attention and could lead to a decommitment from Texas A&M. I'm not saying the two are linked. I'm just saying I had gotten a little insider information on that LSU's offer was going to would possibly make him step back from that commitment to A&M, and lo and behold, he has stepped back from it. So that's what's going on right now in the world of football. And just another little bit of coaching news this week. Josh Brown, who had been the successful coach in any way you want to paint it, way down in Waldron, he had announced at the end of the basketball season that he was stepping down as the boys basketball coach to accept an administrator's job within the Waldron School District. He announced today on social media that he has taken the head boys basketball coaching job at Mansfield, Class 2A Mansfield.
yeah, that's a little interesting move because he's had all the success at the 3A level. Now he's going to go to 2, and he's not going that far away.
Nope.
Waldron, Mansfield, that's a short distance. So I'm sure he could do a good job there with a Mansfield team. And also, it's a case where with Waldron having success in 3A, but in the next cycle, they're going up to 4A.
Full-fledged in all sports, yeah.
That will be interesting.
It will be. So he'll be making that move. Probably doesn't even have to move. I'm guessing it was because of the close proximity, and I'm not sure where they live, but probably because of the close proximity between Waldron and Mansfield, probably can stay in the same house and just and make that move over to Mansfield without having to buy a new house and relocate a family.
Well, that's where he has to buy all these new clothes. Waldron having that orange, and now he has to go that Mansfield red tiger.
And black. Yep, that red tiger. So a little bit of coaching news there. And tonight, of course, this week, this is not prep sports related, but we have a lot of sports going on this week. This has been a busy, busy week for us at the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. We've got golf, junior golf going on, the Stacey Lewis All-Star Invitational going on, started on Tuesday at the Blessings. This is an annual event that was held last year, one of the few sporting events that was held last year, was back again this year out there at the Blessings. So that was a 3-round event that was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We also had the top juniors in the state playing at Shadow Valley Tuesday, and again today. That tournament will wrap up. The Arkansas Junior Golf Association tournament there at Shadow Valley had that going on. Then, of course, it was not here last year, Paul, but the rodeo is back in Springdale. That starts Wednesday night, and that'll be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Parsons Stadium at Springdale. Paul, it's always fun for me to go to the rodeo and see these guys and gals compete.
Absolutely, I can't wait. It's people who may not know rodeo, go check it out.
Yeah,
it's fun. You'll have a good time.
Exactly,
it's a great time.
It's great family entertainment, and so we'll be covering that all this week and into the weekend, and then that gets us, Henry, to the end of June, and then it won't be long that they're going to be back in. Summer practice is going to be starting here the first week of August.
Yeah, because of course we'll have to deal with the 2-week dead week period where coaches and players can't have that contact. But
what are those dates, Henry?
I think it starts July 4th, but I'm not totally definite on it. That may be a week up. I'm not sure, but yeah, the 2-week dead period will come in, and just before we've already mentioned 1st of August. Hey, that's football practice, but like high school golf season starts that week.
That's right.
So,
and got a little cross country, and I've been noticing. I come over here to Springdale to work out at the Springdale Rec Center, and I'm seeing Shiloh Christian's kids out there running. Staying in cross country shape. You can't can't just jump out of the car, on August 1st and run a cross country meet. That's something you got to train for year round. And the heat, if it's hot, it's hot. It's whatever it is, it is.
Yeah, and one of the things I know this we're here in the summertime and all that. I know while we had to deal with the pandemic, it was always mask up and all this. But now we're dealing with hot summer. So the key words now is hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
Yes, and we'll talk about that. And something I have been interested in, Paul, and I'm going to check on this to see if they're going to bring it back. But, Mercy Hospital here in Rogers has always had somewhat of a coaches clinic there at the Embassy Suites in Rogers. And it's connected with the Kendrick Fincher Foundation, and they give away Gatorade. It's one of the sponsors. They give away, drink bottles and things like that. And you're right, Henry. Hydration is the key, and something that we'll talk about more as we get closer to that start date for football. But it applies to all sports, all outdoor sports, and they need to be aware of that.
Not just outside sports, indoors.
Yes.
You think, there's air conditioning and all that. I'm telling you, the other day I was in an air-conditioned building. I will not disclose where I was at, but all of a sudden I could feel it. I was suffering from heat exhaustion.
Wow.
And so I tanked up, I got home and I started tanking up on fluids real quick.
We need to get Henry one of those backpacks with the you put the water in with the
keep it on.
Yeah, there you go.
High quality H2O.
There you go. Some Bobby Boucher-ism there.
I was drinking, I thought I had drunk enough. Guess what?
Nope.
I was wrong.
Yep. So got that going on?
Well, you were talking about high school sports, and I talked with Natalie Throneberry over at Fort Smith Southside, the volleyball coach. They're going to host a play day, and she said, fingers crossed, Paul, that the new arena will be ready. So they would host, and that's scheduled for late this month.
So for those of you who don't know, we've talked about this a little bit, but Fort Smith Northside and Fort Smith Southside both will have new basketball arenas. For Southside, what a tremendous improvement that will be, which was highly regarded as not the top gym in the 7A West by any means.
Just to be kind.
Yeah, just to be kind. And, of course, Northside didn't have an arena, but they've played at Condart Grizzly Fieldhouse for a long time. They're going to miss that coziness of Condart Fieldhouse, Paul.
Well, there's a lot of tradition there.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and you can't that's something you can't remake all of a sudden.
That's right. It'll be interesting to see how they position the student section in the new arenas. But congratulations to Fort Smith, both Northside and Southside, for getting those new arenas. Of course, Rogers opened up their new arena mid-season last year, and good. Those are beautiful facilities. And if you want to host state events, those are what you have to have. And I would imagine that with Northside being in the Central Conference and Southside being in the West Conference, at least for one more school year, we'll see, then perhaps I believe it would be the Central's turn, Henry, to host a 6A state basketball, and maybe Northside will put a bid in for that.
Yeah, I was talking to Walter Woody last night while we were waiting for the Naturals game to start, and there is a possible talk that they may split the 6A and let Southside host a little part of it, and Northside host a little part of it. But to let them break in the gyms right, which the new arenas, because just a different. Hey, you can get more people in there.
That would be fantastic.
We talked about the new arenas. Not only that, Gravett opened a new arena last year. Pea Ridge opened up.
Yes,
I got to see both the first games in both new arenas, and I said the only thing missing here right now, I want to see this place filled and rocking with noise.
And we're going to see that this year as we move toward a full capacity at all the arenas and the football stadiums, and as we again move back to normalcy.
Yeah,
that's what everybody's hoping for.
The next time I hear face mask, I want to know if it's a 5 or 15-yard penalty, and let's get it if it's an automatic first down. Let's go.
Let's go. And so, Paul, got that going on. And, of course, we also want to continue to mention the Perfect Timing Collegiate League baseball going on every Monday through Thursday. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, starting at 5:30 at Tyson Park in Springdale, as a lot of college kids from the Midwest, as well as kids from this region, are playing this summer to improve their game, some hoping to be seen by some of the larger colleges and or junior colleges out there. So these players aren't just out there, just playing. They're playing for a purpose. Some who might be coming off injuries from last spring, some who are looking to make a move and that kind of thing, like the story we had on Blake Adams last week. The former Springdale Harbor standout who had gone to Arkansas. Things didn't quite work out, so he's looking for a new home. He's in the transfer portal looking for a new home. He's got his list narrowed down to 4 places he's going to go, so he's working on his game this summer in the Perfect Timing League. So it's kids like that, definitely high-level playing kids out there. It's free. Just go out there. You'll have to ask sometimes who's this and who's that, but the players and coaches are real nice, and they'll tell you who they are.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Well, and just what you said, you want to see some good entertainment, some good baseball?
Yes.
Go out there, in the afternoon, 5:30, 6 o'clock, you catch a couple of games.
Absolutely. So that's about it for this week's edition of Prep Riley, the podcast. See, wing and a prayer, my wings, Henry's prayers, we got through it.
Yeah, thanks, Henry.
Thanks, Henry. So that's it for this week's edition of Prep Riley, the podcast. We will be back next week, and we will talk some more 7-on-7 and some more team sports and things like that. Thanks for joining us. For Paul Boyd and Henry Apple, I'm Chip Sousa. We'll catch you next time on Prep Riley, the podcast.
The Prep Rally Podcast is produced and directed by the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Find us on SoundCloud, Apple, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher.